Before Ether ended, I loved Ultimis Nikolai with how entertaining he was, especially with his character quotes.
You're better at aiming puke than that gun, Takio! You could not hit my fourth wife's ass with that aim! Seriously, couldn't it say bye-bye a little nicer? Like this? Bye-bye. See, I like that way. All this wind is mussing up my perfect hair! Whee! I mean, oh shit!
But looking back upon the ending of Ether, I don't really share these fond memories of him anymore. It's not that I don't like him now, but more about how this character could have evolved. Before I continue, I understand that Ultimis were meant to be the stereotypical static characters, while Primus are the evolving, dynamic characters with their deep character development. But I'm left saying, why? Ultimis' journey is what kicked off zombies, and with them not being able to grow feels weird to me. They're a constant, which is good in some respects, but even just a little bit of change would have been nice. Also, I understand the storyline may not allow this to happen with how convoluted it is, and that there would not have been a good enough time to tell the story between Garad Krovi and Tactor Totem. Also, because the Ultimis Nikolai and Garad Krovi is different in a way from the one who we've seen throughout the BO1 storyline. I'm making this video because of this tweet, and well, this got my gears grinding. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about Ultimis Nikolai is because when I went back to watch the Garad Krovi end cutscene, I started to pick up on some mannerisms, which are similar to some of my all-time favorite characters throughout the medium of entertainment. I wanted to break down Ultimis Nikolai and compare him to other characters to show how he could have been elevated to a new level. First character I want to bring up is my all-time favorite superhero, Wolverine. A mutant who is straight up stubborn and not always the smartest. And next is 02 from the anime called Darling in the Franxx. A cunning girl who fights mutated dinosaurs and a robot with her darling. Yep, quite the variety. So what do a drunk Russian, a stubborn man Wolverine, and an anime girl have all in common? Their inner rage. Wolverine is easy to spot out because of how rowdy he gets in fights. Those who do not know of 02 probably won't see her inner madness if they haven't watched the anime.
やめろ、02、一人じゃ無理だ。
Now where does this leave Nikolai? Well, there's only a brief moment where you can see his pent-up rage unleash in the Garad Krovi outro.
But know this, in my heart, I share the same pain as you. The pain that you have buried and blurred beneath an alcohol-fueled haze. Yes, the pain of your own memory. That distance you from painful truth. You know what I speak of. You remember. Some things are forgotten. For a reason!
For the first and only time, we get to see Ultimis Nikolai become serious and reflect upon what he has lost, while the alcohol suppression starts to decline, allowing the pain to get back into him. And of course, Wolverine and 02 also have their ways of trying to hide away their inner rage, but of course, those attempts didn't work. Now, these characters tried their damnedest to hide their inner rage, but the question is, what is the source of that rage?
And it is better this way. Because I suck at this. Bad shit happens to people I care about. Understand me?
僕はいつも一人だよ。この角のせいでね。
Before the bombs fell, before she was taken from us.
It's quite simple. The horror of being alone. Shifting the focus back on Ultimis Nikolai, the pain of losing his wife must have become intolerable to the point where he seeks alcohol as his coping mechanism. When he plays Ultimis Nikolai, there are tons of quotes where he talks about his different wives.
First it takes my money, then it disappears. Just like my fourth wife. Oh, that smells disgusting. Like my fourth wife. She pretty though. Pretty and smelly. Weird combo. Deadly. Like my third wife, fourth. Well, one of my wives. They're all dangerous in their own way. I have black hole. Like my third wife. We won't talk about that. That is one fucking creepy teddy bear. Like second wife. I feel like I am surrounded by all my wives. This is real hell.
Pretty funny, right? Well, none of them are real. He was drinking to the point where he was imagining having multiple wives and commenting about them as if they were real. All that alcoholism was caused from the loss of his wife. Looking at Primus Nikolai, the death of his wife is something he holds personal to him. Since the beginning of Black Ops 3, he talks about trying to get back to his family.
Maybe there is a way to end all of this. To return to our homes, our old lives, our families.
And throughout the maps, he mentions his wife to where it really shows that he keeps her in his mind. The loss of a loved one is hard on anyone. However, everyone has their own way of coping. Ultimis Nikolai became addicted to vodka to hide the pain, while Primus Nikolai fights on with the pain and hopes to find peace. My main issue is, why couldn't both Nikolais find peace? If Ultimis Nikolai lost his source for alcohol, for once we can see a major change to an Ultimis member where he would become more aggressive and angry as there is nothing to suppress his madness. Yes, this would be changing what most people know him as, but it pushes him into a new direction. By the time the story gets to Tagger Toten, there can be a campfire conversation between the Nikolais about the loss of their wife. And they don't need to completely resolve this issue where Ultimis Nikolai just moves on out of nowhere, but it's the realization that counts. What if there's a heated exchange letting Ultimis Nikolai vent out all of his built up sadness and rage over the years and just yell it back to himself, eventually reflecting on who he has become. To start and realize what his wife would think of him after she left him. Instead of ending the conversation with brute rage like Garad Krovi, it ends with more of a realization, the antithesis. Although introducing this on the last map he is featured in would be pretty pointless, I yearned for any major change to an Ultimis member, and in all honesty, I personally want to hear a real conversation between the Nikolais than any other Primus Ultimis characters. In the end, Ultimis Nikolai's attempts to get rid of thoughts about his wife would eventually lead him to think about her. I know that my ideas are a stretch, and well, there's no way I can get exactly how I picture this character development arc. I'm just a person who prefers characters over the actual story. The story is a flower pot, holds everything together. It can be a nice looking pot or a bad looking one. However, it doesn't matter what the pot is. What matters is the flowers, the characters. They make or break people's investment. Well, that's what I think anyway. Ultimis Nikolai is a fun character to play as, even if he hasn't gotten much growth. Though my likeness of him has wilted, I will never forget at the times he made me laugh and made me enjoy slaughtering endless hordes of zombies with them. Do svidaniya, Ultimis Nikolai.
I would like to be in favorite bar, but as long as I have vodka, I am a happy man.